ladies and gentlemen, from Resorts International Casino Hotel in Atlantic City, let's get ready to rumble 10 rounds in the middleweight division. The referee for this bout is Steve Smoker. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the blue trunks with white letters, he weighs 161 1/4 pounds. Fighting out of Carson City, Nevada, he brings a professional record of 18 victories against 4 defeats and 2 draws. 15 out of those 18 victories are by knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, Alberto Gonzalez. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with white trim, he weighed in at 163 1/4 pounds. From Yonkers, New York, he's the current USBA middleweight champion. His title is not on the line in this bout, and his record, 29 victories, 5 defeats and 4 draws, 17 KOs, ranked number 4 in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Cobra DeWitt.
Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions? Touch gloves. God bless. Let's go.
I know, Al, we found it a little unusual that this man Gonzalez, when you asked him this morning what he knew about Doug DeWitt, he said nothing, absolutely nothing. Now, DeWitt is a well-known middleweight.
Surprising as you look at Doug DeWitt. He's been on TV a lot, certainly tapes available of him. But Doug DeWitt, of course, hadn't seen Alberto Gonzalez, but that's not too surprising. Gonzalez fighting mostly in Nevada, near his hometown, Carson City. And boy, if he just waited a week, could have fought in Lake Tahoe next week on ESPN. He traveled all the way here. Next Tuesday, I guess it is, or the 23rd, we're going to be in Lake Tahoe.
Most of his fights, you're right, have been out there. Instead, he gets his first look at the Eastern Seaboard.
As you look at Doug DeWitt, he has, Dave mentioned a left hook to the body. He has a wonderful left hook to the body. Also has a great jab when he uses it, and it's obviously tonight he decided to use it. From a skill standpoint, there are few, and I will say this, even though some may be surprised, there are few middleweights in the world with as many skills as Doug DeWitt has. He just doesn't use them all the time, and sometimes he's very uneven in his efforts.
He is a world-class middleweight, no question. He is nicknamed the Cobra. You're seeing why. You're seeing the speed now early on as he, in a very disciplined fashion, goes with a jab, goes with a hook, and tries to establish something. I mean, there's just no comparison in terms of opponents between these two. DeWitt has fought the best. He's fought McCrory and Hearns, Quinones, Thornton you talked about, Ronnie Essett. Although he gave a very tough fight last time, he did get a draw with Essett. Robbie Sims, he has also fought.
You know, I think that injury that may limit his mobility a little bit, as you see him wailing away to the body, could be a blessing in disguise for Doug DeWitt. When he fought Milton McCrory, I mean, God knows why he did it. And Robbie Sims, all of a sudden he was like moving around the ring, boxing when he didn't have to box, when he could have walked to those guys, ripped body shots, and maybe, you know, carved them and taken them down. But he's busy running around the ring. The one time he did box very effectively was against Mike Tinley, using the jab and the outside boxing to win that fight a few years ago. But primarily, Doug DeWitt should win by body shots and working well on the inside.
Good point. In this man, he shouldn't have to chase and hasn't so far. Gonzalez remains right in front of him. Ooh, a wicked left. He felt that. That was low. And Steve Smoker, the referee, is going to give Gonzalez some time now to recover.
Well, DeWitt had been throwing legal body shots, and so that was just a little bit low. And we may see in the replay that it was a little more than a little bit, but DeWitt had been throwing a lot of legal body shots, so that was a rare low blow. He can get up to 5 minutes here.
And he'd be wise to take a good portion of that 5 minutes right now. Well, he's all right. Going to continue.
With a wide-eyed look.
I would have taken more if I were him.
DeWitt not taking any chances going to the head now. There's a good left hook downstairs, and he's throwing excellent body shots so far. Against a boxer like this right in front of him, Doug DeWitt normally has very little trouble.
Indeed, that has been the case tonight. Goes for the body again. It's a caution from Steve Smoker, the referee, inside 30 seconds.
I thought that one was quite legal.
Right on the boundary. Well, the class of DeWitt is certainly there for all to see. Gonzalez to feel here in this first round, which is at an end now. Scheduled for 10, may not go that far. We'll see.
Doug DeWitt cranks up the left hook to the body, and this one does stray low. Well, really the only one I thought in that round that he landed low, but it really hurt Alberto Gonzalez.
Who survived the round nonetheless, but clearly outpointed by Doug DeWitt. DeWitt determined not to make the same mistake this time. You need both hands to really count on the opportunities that he has had. Maybe got caught looking past them and overlooking his current opponent, vowing not to do that with this man Gonzalez.
The first big one came in August of 1985, a fight I worked in which he was fighting Robbie Sims with the winner almost certain to move ahead toward a title shot, though Sims probably wasn't going to fight his brother Marvin Hagler. So for DeWitt, a win there really would have put him right into a title match. And I'll tell you, for the first 2 rounds of that bout, Don, he walked right to Robbie Sims and owned him, completely owned him, just stopped. I have no idea why. Started to move around a little bit. Robbie Sims got his rhythm, got some courage, and he won a decision over Doug DeWitt. I think that was maybe a key point in his career, and that started some problems for him.
Couple of wins then, and then a streak that was not a good one. Losses to McCrory and Hearns. Got knocked out by Quinones at Atlantic City early in '87.
Shocking development.
And then he's had to battle his way back, and no bout has been easy for him.
Only down once in his career, and that was the right hand by Quinones, not known as a big puncher, that landed right on the jaw of Doug DeWitt. He takes a lot of punches, though. Now Gonzalez is starting to get his rhythm a little bit, at least throwing some punches back.
Gonzalez, a substitute for Ray Gray, the '85 ESPN middleweight champion, who wasn't well and unable to take part in this bout against Doug DeWitt. But Gonzalez comes in with a big punching reputation, but he's being beaten to that by DeWitt.
That bout was supposed to be for the USBA middleweight title that Doug DeWitt owns, a Ray Gray fight. This one obviously is not. Gonzalez is really very tentative, and I'll tell you today, talking to him, I didn't sense, this is his first fight out east here. Good counter right by Gonzalez, but I didn't sense he was really totally with it here. I've seen about 5 or 6 fighters come out east here from the west, and I could feel at the weigh-in that they weren't completely oriented, and I just felt that about him today.
As DeWitt rips the left in at the belt, brings the right that follows it. It may be just as well for Gonzalez. He claims to know nothing about DeWitt. At least he won't be that much nervous here in the first couple of rounds, but he's finding out in a hurry.
Alberto started to land some good shots off the ropes, but he's not doing that much offensively. He's letting DeWitt have his way.
Sporadic at best. Jab consistently in his face now from DeWitt. You say he's right there. Doug doesn't have to go far to find him, does he? And that'll take care of round 2.
Well, the Doug DeWitt jab is a good one, and what's nice is, look, he triples the jab, and the last one really lands against Alberto Gonzalez.
Round 3 of a scheduled 10-rounder. No question that DeWitt is conditioned and prepared as the left comes out from Gonzalez that stings him. Doug worked in the non-air-conditioned Queens, New York gym. Went 40 rounds with Mark Breland, over 15 with Mike McCallum in that last furnace-like heat. Also ran 4 to 6 miles every morning. Let's check the scorecards of our 2 experts here at ringside, and they're right on.
I guess we're in agreement, huh, Dave?
Absolutely, and Gonzalez is already showing some fatigue. The mouthpiece is open. Those body shots of DeWitt are already making their mark on him.
Tell you what, though, I like Gonzalez's jab in this round. He's starting to use that punch a little more effectively.
Uppercut 2. But it is the DeWitt jab that has stolen the show so far.
Let him out, Albert. Let him out.
Doug has 17 knockouts. Gonzalez has 15. So there's power both ways. Good left, good right that followed from Gonzalez. He is proving indeed to be a worthy opponent for Doug DeWitt. Halfway in the third round.
DeWitt really getting the uppercut in, and Gonzalez as well. But there's that uppercut again by Doug DeWitt. He's got every punch. There's no punch that he can't throw and throw well. He's got a good jab, a good hook, good straight right hand, a good uppercut.
Yeah.
Probably his main problem is what we just saw there. Sometimes, and there it is again, he doesn't care. Now, you can see Doug DeWitt starting to get into his hit me, I don't care mode.
Stuck his tongue out.
Yeah, and when he gets into that, he's not as effective a fighter. The idea is to slip, and he can slip punches, but he has such a good chin, sometimes he just lets guys hit him.
Good chin or not, he wouldn't want to get nailed by this guy. Lashing out with the right hand.
Gonzalez can punch with the right hand. There it is.
Yep.
But it shows you what a tough guy DeWitt is. I mean, he has been hit by the best of them. Tommy Hearns hit him with rocket right hand. Don Lee hit him with big right. He wasn't going anywhere. That's why it was astonishing when Quinones knocked him out.
The third round, as you say, the only time he has been taken down. There's a good quick right by Gonzalez.
See?
Again.
Now there's DeWitt. He's almost squinting, saying, you're not going to hurt me. But, you know, you don't want to take those right hands.
That's the old question. Is it a defensive posture to indicate or deflect the fact that you really are hurt? Or in fact, has it not affected you? Gonzalez, the most worthy opponent, staying with DeWitt, but getting the short end of it.
Let's go, Al. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Now there is the overhand right by Gonzalez. Alberto landed about 3 or 4 excellent rights in the last round, but didn't hurt DeWitt, but it's an indication of what Doug DeWitt does that isn't such a good idea, and that is take those big shots.
And Gonzalez showing more skill than certainly his record indicates. So the caliber of opponent, I guess you're prejudiced thinking he hasn't fought the kind of opponent Doug DeWitt has, but he's a skilled fighter just the same.
Well, his losses, he lost to Israel Cole, who's not a bad middleweight out in Las Vegas. Was knocked out by Tim Williams back in 1986, and Tim has certainly had his moments, among them here on ESPN. But no, they're not as good as Doug DeWitt.
Gonzalez is 26. DeWitt just turned 27 6 days ago. Pointed toward a title shot against Sambu Kalambe of Italy later this year if he succeeds against Gonzalez tonight.
That fight will be in November. Possibly November 8th has been mentioned as a date. And I'll tell you, this is going to sound odd, but Doug DeWitt has an extraordinarily good chance of beating Sambu Kalambe if he can get past Alberto Gonzalez, which isn't going to be that easy, only because of styles. I mean, for instance, take those right hands that Gonzalez is hitting him with. Well, Sambu Kalambe is not a real big puncher, so if he lands those shots against DeWitt, I don't think he's going to hurt him either. And DeWitt can do this, and if he can get a guy like Kalambe against the ropes, he can wail away. Right now, he's doing it against Gonzalez.
Well, his ankle will be more crucial then because he's going to see more ring movement from Kalambe than certainly he has tonight. This man is right there for him, and the ankle isn't really getting a test.
Yeah, DeWitt would be the underdog against Kalambe, make no mistake about it, but he would have a shot in that fight. But, you know, Gonzalez is nailing him with some shots here still, even though DeWitt is landing more punches.
Gets off that rapid fire right, does Gonzalez, when you least expect it.
And he is landing. Another one. He's not hurting DeWitt, but you never know.
He's blocking much of that assault from DeWitt, who continues to contain him in the corner.
That last right by DeWitt did get in, though.
Yep.
And I may have shook Gonzalez a little bit.
Gonzalez content to block as many as he can, stand right there, and at the end of the exchange, try to get up a quick right, which he's done on a couple of occasions.
Part of the problem for him is he's absorbing a lot of punishment to the body. Some blocked, some not, though. And the uppercuts are doing some damage.
Double hook, missed with the following right to DeWitt.
Oh, that right hurt Gonzalez to the body, really hurt him. He shook.
The combination of the head he felt too as he bangs away right down to the final bell here in this round. did get to him in the closing 10 or 15 seconds. Gonzalez slowly made his way across to his corner. Had to offer, got off a couple of shots of his own, but not in the last 15 seconds, it turned them.
Well, yeah, but he did do that, but you don't want to be taking that from Doug DeWitt.
Can't do it forever, no.
No, he's better in the center of the ring, as they say. I mean, he does not want to be against those ropes. You can counterpunch from the center of the ring also.
Yes.
I mean, you can. It's legal.
It has been done.
There's a precedent set for it.
Yes.
Now, earlier in that, it was in the third round, Gonzalez came out down using his jab very well, and he's really put that in mothballs now. The way to beat a guy who jabs is by jabbing yourself. And he nullified DeWitt's jab for a little while with his own jab.
And DeWitt's jab still very much there at this stage. DeWitt ahead. Let's see by how much on your scorecards. Well, 40-36 each of you.
And that's some poker hand.
I'd like to have it.
Identical thinking here.
4 10-9 rounds, obviously. Another good combination from DeWitt. Bound to wear this man down if this continues.
And that's been the only missing link here for DeWitt. He's thrown good combinations, but none quite as crisp as that.
This has been a much better bout for DeWitt from a couple of standpoints. One, certainly, is the fact he did not start slowly. Secondly, he has not gone into his little daydream that he often does, losing concentration in the middle of a bout.
He hasn't, and he hasn't dared Gonzalez to hit him. In other times, he started to do it a little earlier. In other fights, he would just stand there and say, oh, come on, hit me, hit me, hit me, forgetting you got to throw punches to win. His defense still isn't great. I mean, it's typical Doug DeWitt defense. He's getting hit with some punches he shouldn't be hit with, but offensively, he's really putting it all together nicely.
Brings the uppercut a couple of times. In his last two bouts, he has started slowly. We told you about that. Tony Thornton ran out of gas until he beat him in overtime, an extra 13th round for the USBA middleweight championship last November. Ronnie Essen really took the advantage early against DeWitt, who did start very slowly. Had to rally in the last 4 or 5 to get a draw there. Now he starts quickly against Gonzalez and simply is wearing this very game opponent from Carson City down.
And I think Alberto Gonzalez is really starting to cave in. The body shots that hurt him toward the end of that last round are hurting him again. And the more DeWitt can go downstairs, the quicker he will end this bout.
Oh, a big right from Gonzalez came out of nowhere, but DeWitt took that. So he got a little careless and found that Alberto has still got some pops to his punch left. The 5th round, the halfway mark now, winding down in Atlantic City.
A scene often repeated in Doug DeWitt's career. Big right hand landing by Gonzalez. Did it hurt him, stop him? No. Well, it may have hurt him a little bit, but he weathered it and won that 5th round very, very big. Don, explain to me why that right hand thrown by a guy who has 15 knockouts in his 18 wins didn't even stop DeWitt, and the right hand thrown by Jose Quinones a year and a half ago that landed from a not a big puncher knocked him flat. It's impossible to know. It really is.
Perhaps a fresher Quinones, because Gonzalez certainly, through the accumulation of blows he's taken, is worn down, but he is still so game, and he's got some pop left. He did rock him there, but didn't take him down, as you saw. Four lefts and the right by DeWitt.
Alberto really wants to counterpunch DeWitt, and to a large extent, he's been effective doing it when he's landed. He has stayed away from those ropes in the last round or so that Ted Walker urged him to do.
So far, he has taken the best, and it's been a very good array of blows that DeWitt can manufacture.
I think the one place DeWitt needs to go back to, though, is the body. Been very effective at hurting Gonzalez downstairs. And there he does go downstairs, but was blocked.
Double, triple hook, then the right. I mean, he is out punching him 4-5, 6-1. I mean, piling up an enormous lead at points here.
The body shots, look at him. Gonzalez really winces when he is hit with those body shots by DeWitt. That is where Doug DeWitt needs to go, if at all possible.
Don't punch.
DeWitt hasn't stopped anybody since he took care of Luis Rivera in the 7th round back in early '86. And it was a couple of years before that. So he has had to work his way and outpoint his opponents. He's got this man down to 1 knee.
2, 3.
And the body shots that Al talked about, I think, are finally coming through. And that is all. Gonzalez will not continue. Finally beaten to the canvas, the accumulation of blows told the story.
Well, it was a methodical effort by Doug DeWitt, and offensively left absolutely nothing to be desired. I'm sure when he looks back at this, he won't be thrilled that he ate some of those right hands, but that notwithstanding, he performed extremely well. It was certainly the most consistent effort that we've seen from Doug DeWitt, I would say, in the last year or so.
Yeah, he stopped his first opponent, as we said, in 2.5 years now, and did so rather impressively for the most part.
And here's what sent Alberto Gonzalez down. Good left hook by DeWitt. And the right hand, which he hadn't seen that much of against the ropes. And inevitably, yes, it's the left hook to the body that would send him down.
That was the last straw, yeah.
And really, those were the punches, those body shots that had hurt him against the ropes 3 or 4 times before.
Okay, let's get the official time now. The announcement from Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official time of the KO comes at 2 minutes 53 seconds of the 6th round. The winner by knockout victory, Doug Cobra DeWitt.
So 7 seconds before the end of round 6, DeWitt ends it, defeating Alberto Gonzalez.